Protein gets the spotlight. It appears in giant letters on cereal boxes, snack bars, yogurt cups, and drinks that barely existed 10 years ago. Fiber rarely gets the same treatment. Nobody leaves the gym, looks into a camera, and proudly announces that they just ate a pear. Yet fiber performs some of the least glamorous and most important work in the human diet. You cannot digest it like ordinary carbohydrate. Most of it never becomes glucose. Much of it passes through the small intestine without being absorbed. That sounds useless. It isn't. Fiber can hold water, add bulk to stool, slow the movement of food, help you feel full, and give certain gut microbes something to ferment. Some types can help lower LDL cholesterol. Others make the difference between a comfortable morning and 20 silent minutes staring at a bathroom wall. Now imagine a normal day. Sweetened cereal for breakfast, white bread at lunch, a protein bar in the afternoon, chicken, cheese, and peeled potatoes for dinner. Plenty of calories, plenty of protein. Almost no fiber. The daily value used on American food labels is 28 grams. Many adults are advised to consume somewhere around 22 to 34 grams, depending on age and sex. That target can feel impossible until you meet the right foods. 2 tablespoons of seeds can deliver almost 10 grams. 1 cup of berries can rival a serving of beans. And beneath the armor of an artichoke hides one of the most fiber-rich vegetable servings on the table. These are 8 high-fiber foods. What makes them special, how to use them, and what happens when you eat too much too quickly. Because with fiber, more is not always better. Sometimes it is just louder. 2. Fiber is not one thing. Before we count grams, we need to understand what those grams actually represent. Fiber is not one single substance. It is a broad family of carbohydrates and related plant components that resist digestion in the small intestine. Your digestive enzymes cannot break them down in the same way they break starch into glucose. Different fibers behave differently. Some dissolve in water and form a thick, gel-like mixture. This can slow digestion and influence how quickly nutrients move through the intestine. Certain soluble fibers can also trap bile acids. The body then uses cholesterol to help replace what was lost. Other fibers contribute more directly to stool bulk. They hold water, increase volume, and help waste move through the digestive system. Then there are fermentable fibers. These reach the large intestine, where trillions of microbes are waiting. Some microbes break the fibers down and produce short-chain fatty acids, including butyrate, acetate, and propionate. These compounds become part of the chemical relationship between the microbiome and the cells lining the colon. The categories overlap. A food is rarely the soluble fiber food or the insoluble fiber food. Oats, beans, fruits, seeds, and vegetables usually provide mixtures that behave in several ways. That makes variety more useful than chasing one magic ingredient. It also explains why fiber can go wrong. Imagine someone who normally eats 10 grams per day. On Monday, they discover nutrition videos. By Tuesday, breakfast contains oats, chia, raspberries, and an enormous pear. Lunch is lentil soup. Dinner is a black bean bowl. They have not improved their diet. They have declared war on their intestines. A sudden increase may cause gas, pressure, bloating, cramps, or changes in bowel movements. Increase fiber gradually. Drink enough fluid. Give the digestive system and its microbes time to adjust. Your gut is an ecosystem. You cannot renovate it in one afternoon. 3. Oats, the quiet cholesterol specialist. Oats do not look powerful. They are beige, soft, and usually photographed beside a wooden spoon in a kitchen that seems suspiciously calm. A dry half cup provides roughly 4 grams of fiber. Respectable, not spectacular. The real advantage is the type of fiber hiding inside. Oats are rich in beta-glucan, a soluble fiber studied for its ability to help reduce LDL cholesterol when consumed in an adequate amount as part of an appropriate diet. Add liquid, and beta-glucan becomes viscous. Picture a microscopic gel moving through the intestine. Some bile acids become trapped and leave the body instead of being recycled. Because cholesterol is used to make bile acids, the liver pulls more cholesterol from the blood to help replace them. The effect is not magic. 1 spoonful of oatmeal cannot erase years of dietary habits. Consistency matters. The type of oat matters less than many advertisements suggest. Steel-cut oats are chopped groats. Rolled oats are steamed and flattened. Quick oats are cut smaller and cook faster. All can retain useful fiber when the whole grain remains present. Flavored instant packets are more complicated. They may still provide fiber, but the portion can be smaller and the added sugar much higher. The package may show blueberries even when the actual fruit content looks like evidence collected from a crime scene. Plain oats give you control. Add cinnamon, add nuts, add a sliced pear. Drop in raspberries or chia seeds. Suddenly, 4 grams becomes 12 or 15 without turning breakfast into a medical procedure. Oat milk does not automatically work the same way. During production, much of the solid oat material may be filtered out. Some brands contain very little fiber unless it is added back. The bowl succeeds because the grain remains inside it. Our next food needs no bowl. It comes with its own edible wrapper. 4. Pears, the portable fiber package. A medium pear provides roughly 5 to 6 grams of fiber. That is close to 1/5 of the 28-gram daily value, inside something you can carry in a coat pocket. Although carrying a ripe pear in a coat pocket creates a different kind of problem. Part of its fiber sits in the skin. Peel the fruit, and some disappears with it. Keep the skin, wash the pear, and you preserve more of its original structure. That structure changes the eating experience. A whole pear requires biting, chewing, and time. Its water and intact plant cells add volume. Juice compresses the experience. Several pieces of fruit can disappear into a glass that takes seconds to drink, while much of the fibrous material remains behind in the juicer. The same ingredient has become a different delivery system. Pears contain a mixture of fibers, including pectin. Certain microbes can ferment some of these carbohydrates after they reach the colon. That can be useful. It can also become uncomfortable. Pears contain fermentable carbohydrates that may trigger bloating, pain, or bowel symptoms in some people with irritable bowel syndrome. A food can be nutritious and still be poorly tolerated by a particular person. That distinction matters. Nutrition is not a morality test. If a pear makes someone miserable, they have not failed the pear. Another fiber source may work better. For those who tolerate them, pears solve a common problem. Convenience. Lentils require a pot. Artichokes require patience. A pear requires one free hand and reasonable confidence that it is not already overripe. Pair it with nuts or yogurt, and a forgettable snack becomes filling enough to survive the afternoon. The next food is smaller than a pear seed. Its fiber count is almost twice as large. 5. Chia seeds, 10 grams in 2 spoons. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds weigh about 28 grams. That small pile can contain close to 10 grams of fiber, nearly 1/3 of the daily value. The concentration is almost absurd. You could hide the entire serving beneath a few raspberries, yet its fiber count would exceed many complete meals. Chia seeds develop a gel when exposed to liquid. Each seed becomes surrounded by a slippery layer, transforming thin mixtures into thick puddings. The physical change makes chia feel like a science experiment you can eat. The seeds also deliver alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, an essential plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. They contribute protein and minerals as well. But chia's greatest strength creates its most important warning. It absorbs liquid. Swallowing a large amount of dry chia and chasing it with a tiny sip of water is unnecessary and potentially dangerous, especially for someone with swallowing problems. Mix it into moist food or allow it to hydrate before eating. Try 1 tablespoon in overnight oats. Add it to yogurt. Stir it into a smoothie that still contains the whole ingredients instead of being strained. A person eating very little fiber may want to begin with less. Your microbiome does not care that an influencer called something a superfood. 10 sudden grams are still 10 sudden grams. There is another practical limit. Chia adds texture, but it does not create a satisfying dinner for most people. A bowl containing nothing but swollen seeds feels less like a meal and more like frog spawn from an expensive wellness retreat. Fiber works best when it belongs inside real food. For that, we move from a seed that disappears into breakfast to a pulse that can become the entire meal. 6. Lentils, the double-duty food. Half a cup of cooked lentils supplies roughly 8 grams of fiber. Then it adds protein, then folate, iron, potassium, and other nutrients join the plate. Lentils do not simply increase one number. They can change the structure of an entire meal. Imagine replacing half the ground meat in a pasta sauce with brown lentils. The dish still feels rich and substantial. The protein remains. The fiber climbs from almost nothing to several grams per serving. Or take red lentils. They soften so completely that they can disappear into curry, soup, or tomato sauce. A child may believe the sauce has become mysteriously thicker. The lentils know what happened. Green and brown lentils keep more of their shape. They work in salads, bowls, and side dishes. Small black beluga lentils remain firm and glossy, looking more like caviar than emergency pantry food. Every variety contributes fiber, though the precise amount changes with type, preparation, and serving size. Lentils contain both fiber and fermentable carbohydrates. That means the first enormous bowl can become a memorable event. Start with a smaller portion if legumes are new to your diet. Increase the amount gradually. Canned lentils can be drained and rinsed. Dried lentils should be cooked until tender. Tolerance may improve as the digestive system adapts, but individual reactions differ. Their greatest advantage is emotional rather than biochemical. Lentils are dependable. They wait in the cupboard when the refrigerator is empty. They cost less than most animal proteins. They can feed one person on a quiet Tuesday, or an entire family from one heavy pot. They do not arrive with glossy marketing. They just keep solving dinner. Their closest competitor does the same job in a darker, creamier package. 7. Black beans, fiber inside the comfort food. Half a cup of cooked black beans contains around 7 to 8 grams of fiber. It also provides plant protein, folate, potassium, iron, magnesium, and other nutrients. The dark skin contains anthocyanins, the broad family of pigments also responsible for the deep colors of blueberries and black rice. Yet the fiber does not exist only in the skin. It runs through the entire bean. Some contributes to stool bulk. Some can be fermented by gut microbes. Black beans also contain resistant starch, which can escape digestion in the small intestine and continue into the colon. This is why a bean is nothing like an equal amount of refined flour. Even though both contain carbohydrate, their structures tell different stories inside the body. Canned black beans make the story practical. Open the can. Drain it. Rinse the beans. Add them to tacos, soup, scrambled eggs, or a rice bowl. Rinsing can reduce sodium and remove some compounds dissolved in the canning liquid. It will not remove the fiber. Rice and beans form one of the world's great food partnerships. Beans are relatively rich in lysine, an amino acid that is more limited in many grains. Grains contribute other amino acids. They do not need to be eaten in the same mouthful to be useful. The broader dietary pattern matters. Then there is the emotional part. A bowl of black beans is not laboratory nutrition. It can be Cuban black beans with rice, Brazilian feijoada, Mexican bean soup, a smoky weeknight chili. Fiber does not have to taste like punishment. Sometimes it tastes like the meal someone cooked for you when you needed to feel at home. Our next food is equally comforting. It simply hides its fiber beneath a layer of creamy green fat. 8. Avocado. Fat and fiber. In the same bite, half of a medium to large avocado can provide around 5 grams of fiber. That number depends on weight. Avocados refuse to obey a standard size. One may fit neatly in your palm. Another looks capable of injuring someone if dropped from a balcony. That makes one avocado a poor scientific serving. By weight, roughly 100 grams of avocado flesh provides about 7 grams of fiber. Its reputation still belongs to fat. Most of that fat is monounsaturated. Because fat carries more calories per gram than carbohydrate or protein, avocado is more energy-dense than berries, pears, or artichokes. That is not automatically good or bad. A person trying to make a meal more satisfying may find it useful. Someone casually adding an entire avocado to an already energy-dense meal may simply be adding more food than expected. Context changes the result. The fiber sits throughout the creamy flesh. It includes both soluble and insoluble forms, turning avocado into a rare combination, rich enough to replace mayonnaise in a sandwich, yet structurally still a high-fiber plant food. Mash it with lime for guacamole. Slice it over black beans. Blend it into a dressing. Add it to toast. But use more than a decorative green fingerprint if you expect a meaningful fiber contribution. Avocado also demonstrates something important. High-fiber food does not have to be dry, brown, or shaped like a cereal brick. It can be creamy, it can feel indulgent, and it can still help move the daily counter upward. The next food moves it even faster, using hundreds of tiny seeds and almost no effort from you. 9. Raspberries, built from fiber. 1 cup of raspberries delivers about 8 grams of fiber. That is roughly the same amount as a half cup of cooked lentils. From fruit, the explanation is hidden in the architecture. A raspberry is not one smooth piece of flesh. It is an aggregate fruit built from many tiny sections called drupeles. Each one forms around a seed. More seeds, more edges, more structural plant material. The result is a fruit almost engineered to carry fiber. Raspberries also provide water, vitamin C, manganese, and colorful plant compounds. Their intense sweetness can make them taste more sugary than they actually are. A cup can turn plain yogurt or oatmeal into something that feels like dessert, while adding more fiber than many processed, high-fiber snack bars. Fresh berries can be expensive and fragile. Sometimes they seem to grow mold during the journey from the supermarket to the refrigerator. Frozen raspberries solve part of that problem. Freezing may soften their texture, but it does not magically erase their fiber. Pour them into oats, heat them into a compote, blend them into a smoothie that keeps the seeds and pulp. Straining is the dividing line. Push raspberries through a fine sieve for a seedless sauce, and much of their physical structure stays behind. Juice compresses the fruit and removes even more. Jam may retain some fiber, but the serving is usually smaller, and added sugar can be substantial. The intact berry remains the best delivery system. It looks delicate. Nutritionally, it is carrying scaffolding. Our final food takes the opposite approach. Nothing about it looks delicate. 10. Artichokes, the vegetable with the locked door. 1 cooked medium artichoke can provide roughly 7 grams of fiber. That is an extraordinary amount for a single vegetable. It is also protected like treasure in a medieval fortress. The outer leaves are tough. The edible portion hides near their bases. You pull each leaf away, scrape the soft flesh with your teeth, and slowly work toward the center. Then comes the fuzzy choke. Remove it and the heart waits underneath. Eating an artichoke is less like consuming a vegetable and more like completing a side quest. The fiber reward is real. Artichokes contain several kinds of fiber, including inulin. Inulin is highly fermentable, meaning certain gut microbes can break it down. This is often presented as an automatic benefit. The human experience is more complicated. Fermentation produces gases. Someone accustomed to artichokes may tolerate them perfectly. Someone with a sensitive gut or a low-fiber diet may spend the evening reconsidering every decision that led to dinner. Begin with a reasonable serving. Preparation matters too. Steaming or boiling preserves the artichoke's basic character. Dipping every leaf into a lake of butter does not remove the fiber, but it transforms the meal surrounding it. Jarred and canned artichoke hearts are easier. They can still provide fiber, although amounts vary. Marinated versions may contain substantial oil and sodium, while brined products can also be salty. Check the label. Then use them where they are easiest to love. Pasta, salads, grain bowls, omelets, or pizza. The artichoke makes fiber feel earned. Pull away the armor, remove the obstacle, and reach the heart. Not every healthy food needs an emotional metaphor. This one arrives with its own. 11. Finale, stacking small wins. Reaching 28 grams does not require a mountain of one food. It requires small decisions that begin to cooperate. Start with half a cup of dry oats, about 4 grams. Add 1 tablespoon of chia instead of 2. Roughly 5 more. Add a cup of raspberries, another 8. Breakfast alone can move beyond half the daily value before the coffee is cooled. A pear in the afternoon adds around 5 to 6 grams. Half a cup of lentils or black beans later in the day can carry the total beyond the target. No fiber powder. No giant bowl of bran. No meal that feels like medical equipment. Just food. The exact numbers will change with portions, varieties, brands, and preparation. The larger lesson remains stable. Stack small wins. Let seeds bring concentration. Let beans combine fiber with protein. Let fruits contribute water and structure. Let whole grains create an everyday foundation. Let vegetables turn the final few grams into dinner. Increase the amount gradually. Drink enough fluid. Pay attention to your body, rather than treating a target as a competition. People with digestive conditions may need a different strategy and professional guidance. No single type of fiber does everything. No single food needs to. That is the hidden advantage of variety. Each ingredient arrives with a different structure, different fibers, different nutrients, and a different role on the plate. Protein will probably keep the spotlight. It has louder marketing. Fiber does not need applause. It has been working backstage the entire time, holding water, carrying structure, feeding microbes, and quietly helping the digestive system continue tomorrow what it did today. Which of these 8 foods belongs in your next meal?